And my point is everyone is going to become a programmer. Like, who wants to go into a UI and click around on boxes and try to find out where they put this on this click down menu, right? You just ask the chatbot. So what I see happening is the end of documents, the end of spreadsheets. That's going to happen in the next couple of years. Those documents, eventually, as you work with more and more of them, those will get transformed into a vector database.
You're listening to Owner RX with Alan Pentz, the podcast for business owners who want to scale without sacrifice. Each episode delivers battle-tested strategies from the Owner RX Playbook Library, showing you exactly how to build systems that run without you. Here's your host, Alan Pentz.
All right, we are back on the Owner RX podcast with Tonya Berenson live from San Cugat, Spain. How are things there today?
It's good. Everything's good. Getting a little chilly, even here in beautiful San Cugat. Yeah, I had to put the heat on.
Oh my gosh. We were actually warm over the weekend, but it cooled way down today. So
that's why you're wearing the jacket.
That's right. I'm wearing my seasonal jacket. If you go to the YouTube. We decided it was the wrong color, but very good. So what are we talking about today, Tonya?
So we were going to talk about AI agents and how do they actually play out, like Claude Code, for example. I want to hear more.
So we're running this. So Tanya's talking about we're running this system at NRX where we basically use this coding agent called Claude Code, which is really just the same thing. Like if you go to Claude.ai and talk to it through the chat interface, it's the same model. We're just using a different user interface, which is either it's like a terminal. So like people get scared by that because it looks like computer programming, which I guess it is today. But it's really just like you could open up the terminal on your computer. So if you're on a Mac, or I think it's the same I haven't used a Windows computer in 15 years. So, forgive me, but on a Mac, you just go to your apps, your launch, or I guess it's called apps still, and just look for terminal. It'll bring up this like command. It's called a command line interface with like the little cursor that doesn't blink, and everyone's scared of that. And they're like, "Oh, I broke the computer." It's
scary. I'm not going to lie. The first time, when I saw it the first time, I was like, I can't. No.
Yeah, and then you can you can use it in a different way. It's slightly easier. Is a program called VS Code, Visual Studio Code, and you can download that, and that gives you like an interface to it. You open up a terminal there, or you can actually you use that on your computer, right? And then you back everything up that you're doing onto what's called GitHub, which is owned by Microsoft, but it's like the way that coders, they use that as like their cloud storage mostly instead of like Google Drive and OneDrive. But GitHub also has, like, when you're in the web interface, you can actually open a code space, which is just like another terminal. It's actually more secure to use that, I think, because it doesn't touch your machine. Like when you're running the terminal on your machine, you're working on files on your machine. So if somebody gets in there or whatever, they could use that Claude Code to do stuff on your, like steal stuff on your machine and things like that. So if you're in GitHub, it would only have access to the files in the cloud storage on GitHub. So anyway, that's just a long way of saying what I see happening is over time, like my line has been people worried about programmers today, right? Like all the programmers are going to lose their jobs. And my point is, no, everyone is going to become a programmer. Basically everyone who does any kind of work that involves words or symbols in software is going to become a programmer. And that's so you are now, Tonya, you are a programmer once you use that system.
I mean, can you believe that? I mean,
yeah. So if Tonya can do it, you can do it.
I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
I've been doing baby steps, but yeah, I mean, even using Visual Studio, you do have an extra step to have to get everything that you program over to GitHub. But I've learned to do that as well.
Yeah, so you push it to GitHub.
Yeah.
You've committed to GitHub. See, you're a coder now.
Yeah, I've committed to the coding process.
Yeah. Now that part of it, I think, is going to go away. But like, what I think is happening is that if you think about it really conceptually, all programming ever was a way to communicate with computers, humans to communicate with computers. And it's gotten easier and easier from like, early kinds of C++ and I don't know the history of computer science, but
Right.
got easier and easier, like Python and R and things like that. They're just like easier versions of ways to create programs that help humans talk to computers, right? So now we're going to a point where it's gotten so easy with AI that you can just talk to it. You don't need someone in between creating a program to translate. It's sort of like, I don't know, up till now you've needed a translator to talk to someone in France if you don't speak French. But now you can put on your Apple AirPods and it can translate in real time for you. That's what's happening,
That's
right?
so
Essentially
cool.
with AI. Yeah. So you get to talk directly to the computer. There's no priestly caste in between who know the secret code and have to translate for you. So, the reality is so like to me, that doesn't mean that coders go away. It means we become coders, right? So what you're essentially doing in OwnerRx, like we have workflows that I've built with Claude Code, and I just tell it like, here's how I want to handle like the meeting notes from our weekly meeting. And I want an agent to like extract all the summary and the action items. I want another agent to look at like other meetings that happened before and make sure we haven't missed something over 3 or 4 sessions. I might want an agent that compiles all the meetings into one big summary. So if you went into like a quarterly meeting, it would do an analysis of the whole quarter. You can do whatever you want with it. So,
Yeah.
I have that. I have like marketing agents that have rules about how to create LinkedIn and newsletter posts and ask me questions if things are unclear. I have one that like when we do research on something, so we're doing research right now on how to build better newsletters. You put the content in that we're reading or looking at, and it does like a copyright analysis. It extracts the key ideas, makes sure that they're generally known ideas. So I'm not like stealing anyone's IP. If it is someone's IP, then it notes it and says, hey, you can only use this much of it under fair use. Does all that for me. And I have, we have like probably 5 others right now. We're running a pretty simple operation pre-launch of the software. So like we're not running dozens and hundreds of agents yet. We will probably. So the question I had really over time was, since everyone's in there just talking to the computer and the computer has access to the data, which is right now a bunch of files in GitHub. So this is one thing that's, yeah. So over time that, that would become too big for Claude Code to really understand. It couldn't digest. Like even now, I like the research agent and my coaching agent and the marketing agent all basically provide the documents at the end. And then there's another agent called the pipeline agent that comes through once a week, looks at all the things that were done in those 3 places and extracts new insights to put into my playbooks that go into the software.
And you created the pipeline agent as well. You've created all of these.
I just told Claude, like, create an agent that does this, this, and this. I tested it out. It didn't work right. So I told it, do this, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm natural language, and it's building it, right?
Yeah.
There's some tips you need to learn, like, hey, make sure you plan really well up front. They're basic, like, project management tips. They're not programming tips. But anyway, so I built that. So that repo, though, of all the content of my coaching and my insights and what we're researching, that's starting to get really big. Right now, it's just a bunch of files, like markdown files, which are like Word files that are organized very well. So like what's going to happen in the future is those are going to have to go into a database. And that's scary to people too. They don't know how to do that. But essentially there's like vector databases, which are what large language models, AIs, are really good at reading. So it relates so it would take like a markdown file that has like 5 subjects with like a paragraph describing whatever that concept is. And it would break it into 5 separate pieces that are linked together through the database, but live separately. And then when the AI comes in, it can bring out all the different pieces. They're vector related to each other. I don't know exactly how that works.
Is this like a step, Alan, when like Claude Code runs out of space, basically?
Yeah, well, Claude Code can't
Like
like
my brain
read
is
that many
thinking about it,
files.
right?
Right, yeah, it's too big a set of knowledge for it to like just run over real quick.
Sure.
It needs it needs structuring to like know where to look. So this is like
Okay.
a vector store is like it's concepts instead of like numbers from your transactions from your point of sale software, right? So that's going to go in a regular database. But like, how does AI agent relate to project management? That's going to go in a vector store because those are two different concepts. So that just basically what's going to happen is so what I see happening is the end of documents, the end of spreadsheets. That's going to
Love
happen in the
that.
next couple of years. Like now that we're doing this, I haven't even like gone to our Google Drive in like months. I don't go there. Why would I? There's nothing there. All the documents are in GitHub. Now those documents eventually, as you work with more and more of them, those will get transformed into a database, a vector or a regular database, right?
Right.
And then you're just running the agent. You're running your Claude Code in a chatbot. Basically a terminal is just chatting with a bot, right? So I think you're going to go to not what we have today, VS Code, GitHub, Code Spaces, Terminal. There'll be some kind of like web interface that has a chatbot and has like probably a dashboard on the side. And that dashboard or panel there will display, because like right now, like a chatbot can only display so much, right? It's telling you stuff. So it's not a great, like, you don't want a dashboard coming out of ChatGPT, right? You want to see it on the side. And you see this, ChatGPT's been doing this. As you search, it's starting to create things on the side and leave the chat there, right? So think about it. What are documents and spreadsheets? They're like right now they're where you do work. So like you're typing into a document or working on a spreadsheet. Okay, well, very shortly right now, you can go into at least Gemini in Google Drive on your sheets or your docs and tell it what to do, and it puts it into the doc. So why do I need the doc, right, to do the work? The other thing they are representations of the artifact that you're looking for. So like the paper you want to present, the slideshow you want to present, the Excel spreadsheet you want to show, the visualization of it. Well, the reality is these coding agents like Claude Code are increasingly getting things called skills that allow them, they're basically programs. So Claude Code will have a spreadsheet, document, any kind of program skill, right? It'll have that. And it'll just spin up whatever you need at the time. So why would you use documents that are sitting static in a drive, cloud drive somewhere? You don't know what version they are. You don't know what blah, blah, blah. You can just access the database, the vector or the regular, and it knows the latest status. And then the document or spreadsheet just shows up on your pane, and you should be able to send it to people and stuff, but it would update in real time, right? So a document is just an artifact of some kind of process that can live in a database. And so as AI becomes easy for humans to talk to the computer and ask it questions, why do you need these fixed things that are substandard for the job that you have? So my take is that all goes away, and you're just talking to the chatbot with a pane next to it that shows you whatever
want
visual.
that to go away. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who enjoy, entering numbers into a spreadsheet. I'm certainly not one of them. So,
Right.
I mean, or any kind of data,
Right. And then they're building all these connectors to other apps, right? So these like model context protocol, MCP, is the new standard. It's like an API, application programming interface. It's a way to get different computer programs to talk to each other. It's very, it's pretty immature right now. Anthropic came up with this, the guys who make Claude. Everyone's adopting it, right? So pretty soon that chatbot, you're already seeing it, right? You go into connectors in ChatGPT now, and it's all MCP connectors to your Google Drive, to your Gmail, to, HubSpot, to whatever you use, right? And so QuickBooks. And so, you're going to have this chatbot that has access to the databases of all the information that you use and your company uses, all kind of like permissioned to like only give the information to the right person. That's going to be another step we need to go through. But like I just see the end of files. Like you're just going to be working in the chatbot with a representation on the side. Like who wants to go into a UI and click around on people's stupid boxes and try to find out where they put this on this click down menu, right? You just ask the chatbot, right? I think all these people who are saying like, right now the line I hear a lot is bring the AI to where the workflows already exist. So that means, hey, I'm in Slack. I want to mention an agent and have it do work. I'm in Google Docs and I have like a button to write my newsletter, I guess. That just seemed to me, that's like, hey, let's upload our brochure as our website in 1997. It's like the same level of sophistication. And like, but we could have web apps that are interactive and we could actually sell stuff on our web, that's what was coming, right? And I think right now we're still trapped in this paradigm where it's like, oh, we're going to bring AI to these substandard interfaces that people don't really like anyway. Instead of just jumping over that.
Right.
Yeah, like you're not going to log into HubSpot. You're not going to log. I mean, you will in the background, right? You won't probably even know about it at some point. You just log into your front end. It'll be connected to all these things, and you'll just ask for stuff. And like to me, anyone who's building something that doesn't do that, I mean, I guess there's a period of transition, right? Of course.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not looking at that long term, I think that's crazy. Like that's where we're going, clearly.
And it's not that, I mean, it's already happening. I mean,
we're doing it, right? We're still using documents right now, but pretty soon we won't. And I'm about to like when we go to the tool, all my knowledge base is in a vector database through OwnerRx. And so basically OwnerRx is going to become that thing that we would use it. We'll use it to run our company.
Right. No longer will be, hey, Alan, can you send me that document where you outlined X, Y, and Z?
Say,
right.
Where is that document? What is it? Or where is that information?
It's more that, like, where's that information?
Yeah. And then, we still have some stuff we got to do where you got to make, there's some, a few hurdles to get over to make this easier to do. And like right now, this system we're running with like a terminal, a command line interface, put it that way, that's what they call it, which is what the terminal is. And GitHub is not, it's kind of janky, right? Like GitHub is not fun to use. It's hard, like the setting up all the permissions and issues and pushing and like these pull requerequests, PRs, all that. It's just like another language it's another language that no one wants to learn. And it works well if you set it up right. And we're actually about to do it. We're launching a commercial service for AI and automation customized, whereas OwnerRx is sort of like a set, SaaS solution. But we're doing that for bigger companies at my former company, Corner Alliance, that I still own but don't run. We're helping set that up. And we'll probably use like this GitHub Claude Code sort of setup for now until like the tools really get to the place where you're just working in the chatbot with like the pane next to you. And hopefully OwnerRx gets there. But there are a lot of people working towards this. And really for OwnerRx, we don't really care about where the agents are running. That's what everyone's going to fight over because that's the infrastructure,
right? You mean where the agents are running?
Yeah, so like Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, they all want you to build the agents in their kits like that they provide. And then that means you're going to run it on their servers. So you're going to use their cloud storage. Amazon will want that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're all doing these deals behind the scenes to where are the agents going to run. We don't really care. Right now, we're running them. We're actually using AWS, but right now we'll run them because there isn't a great solution that works for everybody yet. There will be at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, we'll give up running them. We just want to be the interface that helps you figure out what agents to use and then consume the like overview of what the agents are doing. Right. So like we want to be we want to be that like chatbot pane. We don't want to be the background like running the agent. We want to be the place. And then our agents, the way we set them up, are based on my knowledge and my continuing research and work on it, right? So we become this very small business specialized agent factory where you select them and use them. But like as far as the infrastructure of them, I don't really care if they run on Google Vertex or
really
Microsoft Copilot or OpenAI. It doesn't bother me, or whatever Anthropic's going to have, right? I have a feeling that the way these guys are going right now is this sort of like short, midterm to long-term play that's kind of difficult. So, in the short term, the medium term, you see like Microsoft wanting to run all the agents out of their existing stack of applications. So Word, Excel, SharePoint, OneDrive. And I don't see that as being optimal for the future. So maybe that works for the next year or two, but then everyone's going to move to just this code interface, some kind of chatbot interface that you talk to it and get stuff done, and then have the pane come up and you can share the pane with other people. And, that's, and I mean, a pane, P-A-N-E, not P-A-I-N. And like, so I think that, they're trying to play this game of like, what would people adopt now versus long-term? And I think like Anthropic is really well set up. Claude is really well set up for the long-term because of the way they're going with skills, which are these little executable programs.
The small programs.
Right. But Microsoft is really set up for today. So it's like sort of this, which one is going to win out when, right? I think I know what the long term is. I just can't predict like how long we're going to be in this medium place where like, if you get, because like we're already there sort of with, maybe like the vector database not being in place yet. But, like others aren't going to adopt what we're doing. So they'll probably be in that Microsoft, Google system. Google's sort of in between, I feel like. They're kind of doing both. But yeah, I think like long term, if I were really gearing up as of now, I would say go learn how to use Anthropic. They seem to be the ones, Claude, it seems to be the ones driving toward like an enterprise company, like B2B kind of way. Whereas I think OpenAI is trying to do everything, right? But they're really a consumer chatbot search kind of. They're going to be an advertising driven consumer product. Microsoft is in a weird spot. I don't know, like
I can't really get my head around that. Like what?
Well, I guess my question is, do Microsoft and Google become just like hosting environments? Like they're really just, they have this suite of productivity software,
right?
That I feel like is going to get commoditized. Like Word is just a skill that Claude can run. Why do I need a separate program called Word, right? So that feels to me like that gets commoditized pretty quick. Like CRMs, I don't know why I need a CRM. I can just have a database, right? That's all a CRM. CRM is a database with a user interface. It
negates the need for it.
Right. Why do I need that? Yeah. Why do I need this stupid UI, right? If I could just port all the data out into a database, why am I paying Salesforce a bunch of money? Right. And Salesforce thinks it's going to run all the agents out of Salesforce. I disagree. I think they are just not going to have a model like Claude. Now, maybe they get Claude to come in there, but eventually it's going to be chat interface with Claude to some kind of database, set of databases. That's it. And with a pane that shows you stuff. I think everything else gets wiped out over time. And like even like complicated ERP type stuff just becomes a series of skills.
What's ERP?
Enterprise resource planning. So that's like, you know, like at a bigger company like a NetSuite or something where they have like the general ledger that does all the accounting. They have like a purchasing system, a budgeting system. You know, those will just become skills. I mean, the software is so easy to. Software is getting easier and easier to create. And like, why are you gonna pay extra for something that's just like downloadable to Claude? So I see it going to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you have Anthropic up front, but then like Microsoft and Google are providing all the compute, right? All the runtime. Like Claude's actually the language executing, but they're using right now, they're renting like either Microsoft, Amazon, or Google servers. They're not necessarily building all that themselves. Like OpenAI is building some of it themselves. That's why you hear about all this stuff. But Anthropic doesn't have that kind of money. They're not doing that. So they're going to partner. So to me, like Microsoft probably becomes a commodity provider of compute to somebody like Anthropic. But that, you know, that's more complicated, takes a little more prognostication than I know. I just know that this is where we're going to, is like chat interface or verbal, right? You know, you can just put a verbal interface into that too, where you just talk to the computer, it does stuff and gives you visual representations of it when you need it. And
I mean, it may be a little intimidating, but it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so much better. Like, who wants to click around in someone's stupid UI? Like, you know, some like 25-year-old from Silicon Valley decided this is how you have to access your information. Screw them. You can do it the way you want.
Yeah,
right?
screw them.
That's right. So, yeah, I think this is where we're going. I think it's really important. Like, if you want to get there faster, I think I might put a little guide up on how to use GitHub this way. I think it is very difficult. Like I did
It can be helpful.
I did a LinkedIn post on this and it went a little viral and I got a ton of comments about it. Some like, oh, well, you could just do it. And some like, oh yeah, well, this doesn't work very well. And it's like, and some people are like, well, you can do it. And I'm like, yeah, the point isn't that I can. My point was like, it's really easy for me to use the system and I can train like 1 or 2 people to use it and it's not overwhelming. But like, if you're trying to scale this to a 50-person company, it's tough.
That would
People
be.
don't like it. Yeah, you got to get really good at setting all the permissions and everything. People do not like it. It's not familiar. It's just like right now, I wouldn't recommend it for an enterprise. But if you're building something yourself, or you're starting up, you have a new company, or you're kind of working on things that you don't necessarily need the entire company to interact with, I think this is the most.
Get in from the ground up.
Yeah, you can just build agents by telling all agent is a series of processes that I do repeatedly, right? And so I just go in and tell it, okay, do this. And so the advantage is now with my newsletter, say LinkedIn or other agents, I've built in like antagonist agents that check the work of the first agent. And it's really effective. And multiple times everything's gotten way better because I had that built in. And so like, that's what you can build in now. And you could start running your company with like half the admin staff that you have. And then as I can connect into more and more software, as these MCPs become easier and more available, you know, it just, the more I can do more.
It gets easier.
Yeah, it just gets easier. And like the other day I was like, oh, connect to QuickBooks. And it just built an API. Claude Code just built the API. I mean,
and you literally just said, I want to connect to QuickBooks, build me an agent.
Yeah. But how long till it's just a skill, right? Or, you know, just a downloadable MCP, or it just comes with Claude, right? They have a connection, right? So that's coming within months, you know? So I think we're just going to get there sooner. So I urge people to experiment with it, but I'm not sitting here saying, hey, you guys should all go out and implement this in your company. I just think it's a bridge too far for people right now. But if you want to see what the future is going to be and start getting there yourself, I definitely say experiment with it, right? And that's what I would do, is use Claude Code in my GitHub code space, the most secure way. Set up a GitHub account, anyone can do it, and then have Claude teach you how to use GitHub. So give me 5 lessons on using GitHub better, and it'll teach you.
Yeah,
right?
anybody could do that, really.
Yeah, and it's intimidating. I know you look at it and you're like, oh, it's so confusing. But like, just take a screenshot, put it into ChatGPT, and say, where do I start? And it'll tell you. So, yeah. So I think that's it for this week.
That's awesome. This was helpful, useful.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Until next week.
Adios.
You've been listening to Owner RX with Alan Pentz. Want to apply what you just learned? Try our AI Business Advisor at ownerrx.com. It has all the insights and lessons from this podcast, plus hundreds of playbooks, ready to solve your specific business challenges. Owner RX. Stop being the bottleneck. Start being the owner.